One thing I've noticed about the i9500 is the heat issue, so let's find out what we can do. Now this little check will work for all Galaxy devices and any Android device, to be honest. So what we're going to do is run a benchmark called Antutu, and this is going to really stress our CPU out and find out what sort of temperature range we're running. So I'm going to zoom into this top taskbar here, and I've got an application that I'll run through a little bit later on. But what I'm going to do is to check the temperature range, and it runs stable at about 30 degrees centigrade. But when we start the stress test and really get to see what the CPU is capable of, and it scores some fantastic scores in Antutu, but we can see the temperature getting pretty high now, and I think it hit even 100 degrees. So if you run this Antutu benchmark test and you install the application that I'm going to go through later, and you find your device consistently hitting high 90s and even 100 degrees, like, oh, here we go, it's going to hit it now, we really need to do something to stop our device hitting these high temperature ranges. Anything in the mid to high 90s, even 100 degrees, is far too high, and it's going to significantly reduce the life of our device. So for those that don't know, this is the i9500, the octa-core Galaxy S4, and as we can see, the temperatures are just too hot. So what I have to do is to downclock my device. So what I've done is installed an application called Set CPU, and what I can do within that application is stop the CPU from going above a certain frequency. So I've stopped it at 1.4 gigahertz. I've got a couple of hundred megahertz to go until the CPU hits full peak, but I don't want to make it go that far because you can see the temperature range was just too far. So I've stopped it at 1.4 gigahertz, and I'm consistently getting temperatures of around 86 now. For the i9500, it's definitely a little bit concerning that a device that's new and recently released will be hitting these high temperature ranges. So hopefully a kernel will be released by Samsung, even a custom kernel for that matter, will come out and hopefully address this issue and reduce that temperature. So as you can see, a really good Antutu score there on the Galaxy S4 octa-core version, but limiting the CPU to 1.4 gigahertz is obviously going to affect that performance. Now this application and tool that I mentioned in the beginning of the video is called CoolTool, and you can see up here is where I've got this information displayed. There's a lot of hardware information that this tool does, and this tool's fantastic. Every time I flash a new ROM, this is the first application I install, just because I need to monitor my device. So we can see we've got a lot of different hardware profiles we can monitor. And custom, if you want your temperature of the CPU to be active, you have to edit the custom label and give it the postfix and the prefix a label. So the prefix is going to be temperature of the CPU or CPU temp, and the postfix is going to be degrees C. Now once we've done that, we can scroll across to the advanced tab. So we go through advanced. If I scroll to the bottom, we can see custom label path, and inside that path you need to copy and paste the text I have in the description, and that will direct the hardware monitor to display text from that path. Now also within this application we can change the size of the font, as you can see there. Change it right up, and I'm going to put it back down to 3, just looks better at 3. I think that was 3. And we can change the alpha level, the graph alpha level, and turn the graph on, so you can see lots of different graphs. And I just like the text and the font styles. I'm not more of a graph person. And there we have the application. So it's a definite must for me, and if you need to monitor your CPU temperature consistently and accurately, then this is the best tool for the job. Because if you're just going to end the benchmark tool and try and look at the temperature range, it's going to be quite delayed, because at the end of the benchmark tool it only tests the input output, which is going to let your CPU cool down. So the links to download both apps, Set CPU and CoolTool, are in the description. The path for the custom labels in the description, So I hope that helps you out, and I'll catch you next time.